Tesla had deliveries today and the stock price did not like the numbers. I, as an investor, didn't mind the numbers, but the stock price didn't enjoy it. Price sold off aggressively down to $242. But while I'm taking some losses on my longer term calls, I actually made $38,000 today in profits with Tesla calls. And in this video, we're going to explain how I was able to do that. We're also going to cover the unusual buying patterns that we saw today on Tesla. We had, once again, even with this drop, another alpha gold flow, which is a significant bullish alert that's showing that big money is actually stepping in when it comes to the options market. Now, the first thing I want to do before we get into the technicals is talk about one of the reasons I entered my long position. So if we're looking at this software here, this is called Black Box Stocks. We teach you guys all the time and in our free course down below how to read this unusual options activity. But these gold alerts are one of the strongest alerts that we have as traders. In order to trigger a gold alert, there needs to be significant buying occurring within the options market. Now, the specific flow that ended up triggering this alert was right here. This came through at 10:04 a.m. You're going to see that the detail was a large bullish flow, which means that there is significant money coming in behind this. If we actually isolate the order, you're going to see that it has the three things that we look for when we want to piggyback a trade like this. The first is that there's time. This doesn't expire today or this Friday. This expires within a couple of weeks. So we have more than enough time till expiration. The second thing is there's urgency. Under the details, you're going to notice the _A. That means that these calls were bought above the ask. This was a confirmed bullish order. This was not somebody selling a covered call. And then the third thing is there's urgency. So this is a sweep. And also there's $2.6 million, which is size. I should really say that's the last thing we look for. And to a lot of you, you might think $2.26 million isn't that a lot when it comes to Tesla stock, and you're entirely right. But when it comes to the options market and when it comes to one order, that is unusual. So when I saw that come through, price actually hit this alert at $244. So this was right at 10:04 a.m. So I went over to our Discord community right at 10:09 and I said, listen, there's a large bullish flow, big money's coming in, I'm going to buy into this. And so I decided to follow. I even went over onto X and told the team on X that I was going to be buying these calls and that I was going to follow with November 1st, $245. Now, if we go over to the technicals, it's one of the things I like to do is incorporate technicals with fundamental flow. You're going to notice that price was pulling back into this market bias. So my thought process was that we're coming down to a decent support. We also had a 4-hour market bias that was holding, and I see unusual options flow. There is a very good chance that price was going to bounce off of that 242 level, come back up, and then potentially sell back off. So I went ahead, I went in on this position. You're going to see that I paid $19 for these contracts, and you're going to see that I closed it at 11:36 a.m. So about 90 minutes later, if I would have had shares, it would have been a 2.88% return. And with my call options, it was about a 30% return. And you're going to notice that I decided to close out that position because if we look, when we talk a lot here on this channel about focusing heavily on confirmed calls and only focusing on things that have at the ask or above the ask. But one of the more, I guess I would say, advanced aspects that I want to teach you guys going into 2025 is that when we see this unusual call buying, how do we know when they're taking profits? Now, one of the ways that we know they're taking profits is we could actually look at the sell orders. And you're going to see that this guy bought at, well, like we said, 10:04 a.m. But then he sold 287,000. So he took some profits at 10:16. He took more profits at 10:32. He took more profits at 10:32 and then final profits at 12:08. So at about 11:30, when I saw that this was occurring, I alerted the team within our Discord community, and I also alerted X that this seller was walking away and that I was going to take my profits off the table. which was right around 11:37 a.m., and that's when I closed out my position. Now, from this point, where do I see Tesla headed in the next couple of weeks and next couple of months? Well, you guys already know that I'm still very, very bullish on Tesla when it comes to the next couple of months, specifically into the end of this year. You guys know that one of our favorite indicators that we like to use is called the market bias. And you're going to see that when price pulls back into the market bias, it is a very strong support level. Usually we will push back up into equal highs or higher highs. Well, you're going to see here that at $260, we have a very strong liquidity zone. And so far, there were basically two routes that we saw Tesla moving. One was if deliveries were great, we push right through 260, 270. We run through the 1010 Robotaxi event or the We Robot event. And then from there, if earnings is great, we push up to 300. The other route was if deliveries was the bad catalyst. And it seems like that was, or at least a reason for, a bit of a sell-off, maybe to shake retail so that Wall Street can get some more orders in. But if we look at this chart, I think that there's a very good chance of what we've been saying, that price is going to pull back to 240, 235, worst case 230, and test this market bias support. Normally, when price pulls back into the market bias, it is a very good sign that price is going to bounce and move our way back up to 260, 270, and 280. And so at this point, I'm still holding my December and my June calls that I've been holding on to for a while now. We had a bit of a day trade today that did very well, helped us out as far as a realized profit. And overall, if Tesla continues to pull back, I'm not necessarily going to add to it. That's one thing I want you to understand. I'm not the type of person who's just going to average down, average down, average down. No, if money starts coming out of this, if we start breaking supports, then I'm done. I'm going to walk away. I still believe in the company long term, but there's no reason for me to be trading Tesla, if we're in a significant downtrend. The only way that we're going to be trading this is if this trend continues to hold. So we need to see money step in at 240, 235, and 230, and I think that that will happen. Now, the very last thing is looking at the 1 hour time frame. You're going to see that price did end up bouncing here, and you're going to notice that the BX trender, while I have it very, very dark, it's almost unable to be seen on my screen. This is our area of resistance. So normally what will happen is, I think best case tomorrow we'll see a pushback to 252, maybe 254, but I do think there's a chance for one more pullback down into that 240 level before that potential bounce. Because as we said, that would also line up with that daily chart support level. From there, we should see that next move to the upside. If you guys want to learn how I've made over $1.7 million this year using only two indicators, the ones that you guys see on this screen, you can go check out all of our courses completely for free, specifically the Elite Traders Playbook. That course is going to teach you everything that I look for in order for me to get into a trade. And on top of that, it's going to show you guys exactly step by step where I set my take profits, where I set my stop losses, and how I manage risk, an actual formula that I use. Thank you guys for all the support, and I hope you have a great day.